Welcome to another episode of Dox'n Reality, and I'm your host, Mr. Paradox. Now, today's episode, well, it's still the same day, but I don't think none of that shit matters. We're going to take a look into the Meanwhile folder. The Meanwhile folder is shit that you should probably be aware of while we're going, paying attention to all this celebrity gossip, all these, these worthless women running around and creating a scene, drawing attention to themselves. Meanwhile, it's shit that you should probably know, like what laws are probably being passed behind your back, what technology is coming out here to further erode your privacy, shit of that nature. So, without further ado, let's take a dive into there. Meanwhile.
Now to the latest on the COVID vaccines. A major airline CEO saying eventually all international passengers will be required to show proof of vaccination. This is raising new questions on how far vaccine rules will go. Our James Longman is in London.
What the fuck?
With all the details this morning. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Michael. Yeah, COVID-19 has already taken so much from us, not least the chance to go on vacation. But just how will large numbers of people feel safe getting back on a plane again? Well, one airline is saying you may have to have the...
Now, I gotta ask, how many people are actually still scared of this shit? Because I be walking around stores and all that with no mask on. Like, yeah, people are off you the mask and says required, but I'll just grab it and like, I ain't wearing this shit. Shit, I don't even wear this shit at work no damn more.
vaccine before they let you fly.
Overnight, one of the world's top airlines, Qantas, has announced all international passengers may soon be mandated to start getting the COVID-19 vaccination in order...
Okay, when that international travel shit, starts fucking with their profits, they're gonna change their minds. Money always talks.
...to fly.
What we're looking at is how you can have a vaccination a passport, an electronic version of it that certifies what the vaccine is it acceptable to the country you're travelling to.
The CEO of Qantas saying he expects other airlines to now follow suit.
Talking to my colleagues in other airlines around the globe, and I think it's going to be a common theme across the board.
And we could soon see similar requirements in other parts of our lives.
Airlines, businesses, and schools are going to be concerned about legal liability if anybody contracts COVID-19.
Okay, so why the fuck didn't y'all do this shit for flu, smallpox, and all this other shit? I'm just saying, y'all were changing the whole game around behind a bullshit ass virus that just came out of fucking nowhere, like literally. If y'all gonna change the game like this, y'all gonna lose a lot of goddamn business. Cause I believe that more people don't believe this shit than do believe this shit. And the media has this big ass mouth to where they can like fuck with your perception. Cause I walk around, I see a lot of people wearing masks, but I also see a lot of people not wearing them goddamn masks and all that shit. And a lot of people say they're not fucking with this vaccine, they're not fucking with this mask shit, and they just don't believe what's going on. Hell, you can go on YouTube and just get a vibe of how people are commenting and whatnot. You can tell who's a federal agent by how they speak and whatnot. I'm just saying, though, big ass corporations doing this, when them numbers start dropping down, they'll back the fuck down.
On a plane or in a school or at a place of employment.
Essential workers will likely be required to get the vaccine, but the pushback against forced...
Then again, that violates every type of privacy act right there. That kind of violates the Fourth Amendment when you think about it. Hold on, just to make sure that I'm not tripping. Fourth Amendment, search and seizure, privacy and whatnot, And let me make sure I'm not tripping here. Go. Right of people be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. No warrant shall issue but upon probable cause. Okay, so I said, Fourth Amendment. Yeah, I was right. I mean, you can't require somebody to get some shit, and then, on the other hand, if they get the shit, they die, and the manufacturer can't be sued. What the fuck kind of shit is that?
Forcing people to take vaccines could be fierce. According to a recent study, half of Americans say they aren't...
That's bullshit. They just make up these damn statistics. It's like, where the fuck are they getting these numbers from?
...willing to take an FDA-backed vaccine.
Fuck no, I don't even trust the FDA for fucking food.
There are going to be many lawsuits from people saying, I don't want to take that vaccine. But it might be very difficult for them to prevail on these lawsuits.
There's also talk of an app on your cell phone that'll function a bit like a COVID passport. It'll have details of your inoculation as well as details of the travel restrictions in place in the country you're heading to. There's a lot of new stuff to get used to. Michael?
Be interesting to see what the public response will be to that, James. Thank you so much.
Well, hey there,
Well, when people stop giving them money for international travel, then what? It's like, okay, you think you can squeeze people for so long, but until they just start saying fuck you, like, you ain't gonna keep doing that shit to everybody. Like, people just gonna find other ways around it like they've always done throughout history. Technology, as much as they want to play God with it, you're not God.
GMA fans, Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out.
This bitch is ugly, man. I don't know why the fuck am I still watching that. Next video.
Now to the voting results beyond the candidates, the major ballot initiatives making changes to state and local laws and how they're making history. This year, voters in 32 states and the District of Columbia weighing in on just 124.
Well, this is it's clear this is old. Well, it's fairly recent, but in today's culture, this would be considered old if it's more than 2-3 days. But fuck y'all, I'm doing it anyway.
Initiatives, the lowest in decades, down 30 from 2016. Experts say the pandemic making it tougher to collect signatures to get initiatives on ballots. Some of the most closely watched initiatives include, in Mississippi, voters deciding yes on this new state flag design featuring the official state flower, the magnolia. This will replace the current state flag, which features Confederate themes.
Okay.
And in California, voters striking down Prop 16, which sought to overturn the Golden State's ban on affirmative action for public institutions such as state college admissions and government hiring.
Affirmative action. So would it be based on merit? So, all right, no affirmative action means you don't just get the job just because you're, I don't know, you check a few boxes anymore. You're black, we need a black guy here, and you know, or you're a black woman and you fill 2 blanks. Cool, black, female, and okay, and you're other. Okay, yeah, check. You're in automatically. Oh, you have no degree? Fuck it, you're in anyway. So I'm not against them shooting that down.
But California voting yes on Prop 22, making app-based drivers for companies like Uber and Lyft independent contractors rather than employees. With the passage of
which means it doesn't have to give them benefits
of this law,
and they can work them even harder.
Ride-hailing and food delivery companies will not be required to provide employee benefits and protection for workers.
Yep, just like I said, yeah.
And a first in the nation in Oregon. Voters deciding there to decriminalize possession of small amounts of all drugs, including heroin, cocaine, and meth. Those found in possession will now have the option to pay a fine or go to a free recovery center.
Well, I'm guessing that kind of frees up the, I'm guessing that kind of kills the drug industry up over there. Well, maybe niggas will stop getting killed so much up over there. I don't know. Maybe they're hoping people will OD so much. I don't know. I don't know if they legalize it. People don't have to, substitute it with other shit in order to just get there. I don't know. Mix about that.
Also on the ballot in 5 states, legalization of marijuana. 4 states, Arizona, Montana, South Dakota, and New Jersey, all voting to allow recreational marijuana use.
Why is this even illegal?
While Mississippi voting to allow the use of medical marijuana.
Why the fuck is a plant illegal? Like, I don't get it.
I want to check in with Dr. Jennifer Ashton and get her take on all this. So you heard what we just said about Oregon and the hard drugs there. How is the medical community viewing this?
Well, obviously, Robin, there are pros and cons to it, and there is a difference between decriminalizing and legalizing drugs. And this is a perfect example of where there's really an intersection between societal and political and ethical and medical issues. From a medical standpoint, it's really about shifting that paradigm from looking at.
Well, maybe cops will actually be able to, solve actual crimes, like murders, robberies, rapes, shit of that nature, not just locking motherfuckers up for drugs.
People either as criminals first or as people with a drug abuse addiction.
And I'm just gonna put this out there. This may have something to do with that opioid epidemic. Maybe they're seeing that maybe too much of Caucasians are on that shit, so they need to get them help, because it wasn't until the opioid epidemic, opioid was, the problem was declared an epidemic, that, they started decriminalizing the shit. But when it was crack, I'm just saying, niggas are still in jail for that shit for 25 years, for life in some cases. I'm just saying.
Or dependence problem, and shifting the resources and efforts into getting them treatment so that they can become, in recovery.
Yeah, definitely white folks.
Right. And Portugal passed a law like this. Did we learn anything from them?
Well, again, it's not exactly the same, but we have learned some lessons. Portugal went through this about 20 years ago, and according to a recent study, they saw a decrease in the per capita social costs associated with drug use by about 18%. They saw a drop in the percentage of people in prison for drug violations by about 20%. They did not see an increase.
Well, that kind of puts a dent in the private prison and industrial complex.
Or a surge in drug use, and they saw more people in treatment. So that is, some encouraging signs there. And again, it's not exactly the same as the United States, but it's promising.
Yeah, there might be some signs there. Could this possibly go the way of marijuana? You remember back in the day, it was very unusual for a state, and then we saw all the states that passed it. And how do medical professionals, could they have a say in that in any kind of way, do you think?
Well, remember, right now the field of medical cannabis is in its infancy, and there's a lot of promise there. Ear, nose, and
the fuck you mean it's a lot of promise? It's always been there. Just because the state is just opening it up now, to my in its infancy, man, motherfuckers on the low been doing this shit for years. Y'all just barely catching up. Only reason now, y'all just want extra damn tax money. And I'm still trying to figure out why the fuck people are still paying taxes.
Throat specialists use cocaine.
Y'all do realize if you stop paying taxes, like, the whole system crashes, and they can't take shit from you, right?
Medically, heroin is an opiate, so there are some medical differences here. But right now, Robin, so many medical professionals feeling that they've lost their leverage in benefiting society by being able to motivate behavior. So time will tell.
Yes, it will. All right, Jen, thank you so much. Well, hey there, GM.
Okay, next video, because I ain't trying to hear square chin jaw there's
Or they know they've got you, because guess what? They told us 15 days to stop the curve. Then they told us 30 days. Then they told us, if masks really work, why is it still a problem? If masks really
do masks really work? Why is it still a problem? Yes, y'all need to listen to motherfuckers like this. They're out there giving you the warning, they're giving you the information, and if you still keep doing this shit, they just gonna keep moving the goalposts. After you get the vaccine, then what? Now you must now you have to change genders. Now you have to chop your dicks up. Now you have to give your kids up for sacrifice. They just gonna keep pushing the goalposts. So everything is just, and they gonna keep doing. You think this is the stop right now? No, they gonna keep going. Because they see you just bending over and just taking a whole dick with no lube. So, like, keep thinking motherfuckers like this are crazy. You gonna wake up and find yourself with your whole DNA structure just altered. You're going to find yourself not human no more. You're going to find yourself unable to think an independent thought without being electrocuted or killed. We're going to end up like socialist Russia or the USSR back in the fucking 50s.
work, why is this still a problem? Because the masks don't do anything. It is just a flu. We've already been exposed to it, folks. Do you know that the CDC in 2019, November and December, they went back and they tested blood from blood banks, and guess die from the flu. Do you know that? The basic flu. We were told that 2.5 million people were going to die. Do you know that?
And then he's also on to something with that. How many people? If this, supposedly we have 12 million people dying every day or some shit like that. Then we should see a fucking dead body on every corner. We should see people dying in their cars from COVID. I don't know anybody who's died from this shit. And then, if they're walking around talking about you're asymptomatic, but you tested and you got it, it's like, okay, that's like saying, okay, let's just say you were fine before you walked into the doctor's office, but then you go in there and find out you had cancer. Oh God, thank God I caught it in time. But before that, you were fine, and after they told you, and all of a sudden now you're feeling down, you're sick, and all that shit. That's just one of those mental fuck trick mind fucks they play on you. Y'all gotta be aware of these doctors. These doctors are all part of this system. If that they never give you anything that cures anything. They just give you shit to mask your symptoms. And I know this ain't the first time y'all done heard this. Now I know I'm sounding like a real conspiracy theorist and whatnot, and that's a term coined by the CIA back in the 60s in order to destroy credibility of people who are actually telling the truth. Now, and there are plenty of books out there on all this shit, but I digress. Where are all the fucking bodies that are supposed, where are these like couple of million people or who are dead from COVID? Okay, if that's the case, we shouldn't have no fucking traffic out here.
2.5 million people haven't died in the world, and there's 7.5 billion people on the planet. And they told us, don't let them do it. You know why we're under this lockdown right now? Because all the information is coming out about COVID, and they know it's a farce.
Hey guys.
You must not do this.
Just keep going, guys.
If you continue, this is the life that you will have.
Just keep going, guys. Keep going.
There's nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. And they do this every time somebody's telling the fucking truth. They do this every time. Anytime somebody tells you to like keep going, you should probably. I'm just saying, if some martial law, some shit happens, people like that will be the first ones to give you up and sell you out.
Don't tell me I have the right. You know what? Governor Newsom doesn't have the right to shut us down, to make you wear a mask. That's right. Okay. All right, people, you know that's right. We've got to stand up for ourselves because this governor is going to keep us locked down until we do something about it.
He's not wrong. He is not wrong. They're going to keep moving this goalpost as long as they know they can get away with it. But, in order to get to heaven, somebody has to die.
I want to know, are you going to let this happen? It's a beautiful day outside of the world.
I know I'm going to lose a lot of women with this one, but...
Oh, Jesus. This is going to be a good one.
Black women are partially responsible for the rapid growth of homosexuality in black men, and I'm going to tell you why.
Yep, she is 100% right.
One thing that society has figured out is that if you want something to become trendy, anything to become trendy, you have to get the black woman on board.
Typically when a black man does something, it is imitated by the world, but I guess she's not too far behind with that. Because feminism really didn't take off until black women started marching locks and step with them feminists.
Because what she'll do is she'll campaign and give free advertising and market that shit like no other.
Yep.
So as black people,
and I can vouch for that because you tell a black woman something, she'll go and spread that shit faster than. Boy, you'll be surprised how fast black women can spread some news. Man, if they would have just told black women the British are coming, it would have been like text messaging back in 1776. Everybody would have knew about it.
You already know our buying power. So
So yeah, black women do waste a lot of money. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
What she'll do is she'll campaign and give free advertising and market that shit like no other. So as black people, you already know our buying power. So what America did was, if we can get more black women to buy into homosexuality to find it socially acceptable, then the battle was really already won. You know, this Tank situation isn't anything new. There's a lot of men out here these days who think and act just like him. Or even, matter of fact, just think just like him, period. But the thing is that you see how women eat that type of shit up. Women motivated that shit. You think for 1 minute if he was on a panel with black men, that he would have said some shit like that? He said that with a group of women. Because women eat that kind of shit up all goddamn day long. They like femininity in men. That's why they on social media telling you.
That's also the reason why they be fucking around too.
Like, pull your heart out and pull your soul out, and it's okay to get in tune with your feminine side. Like, let's just look up the definition of emasculate for a minute. To deprive a man or a male of his role or identity. You know they say hell
A woman telling a man what the fuck a man is.
hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Who the fuck came up with that saying?
See, fellas, that's why it's very important you pay attention to who you procreate with. Because what these women are doing in these relationships, or coming out of these relationships, they're finding your son's masculinity a threat to her femininity. It's now a threat to the movement. That's not what society wants. Society wants to see more black men out here these days that with more femininity, less control, less dominance, and being more submissive. And I know a lot of people are going to challenge my thoughts. But fortunately for you, I love a healthy debate, so debate me.
Some stuff I agree with, some stuff I don't. And where I didn't agree, you heard me pause the video. So, in order to shorten that, Chick says black women are partially responsible for the rapid growth of male homosexuality. Partially, I'd say more 75%. Mostly because nigga comes out as homosexual. Black women, they don't shame the shit out of them. They praise that, and they walk around talking about, man, girl, this my best friend right here. He be telling me how to get all these niggas and all that. He be telling me how to do all this other shit. Those mannerisms. Black women learn that from homosexuality. No, that's not an Illuminati signal. I know how it looks. I'm just scratching my eye. Just calm down. Just calm down. But then again, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because let's just say black dude turns out to be gay or some shit like that. Black woman be the first one to say, man, get your faggot ass on the out of here, you gay ass nigga. Or if a nigga don't want to fuck him, oh, that's why your faggot ass is over there, like, you know, sucking on little boy dicks and all that shit. And it's like, god damn, bitch, I thought you was best friends. Like, what the fuck is up with this? Like, which is it? You either friends with the gays or you're not. But I put more like 70% up on them, especially if they're advertising it. I'd go 90. If they wouldn't tolerate that shit and shame that shit where it should be shamed, then, you know, I'd say partially, but nah, that's about 90% your fault then. And then I saw this video a few days ago, and I started to do a video on it, but due to technical difficulties, I decided to, fall back, because, you do a video and you keep talking and whatnot, and then the audio just cuts off and you realize you just did like 2 hours of work and none of that shit's recorded. You just fuck, you don't want to do it no more. But this time I can't keep doing that. But I said all that to say, why the fuck is it that when there's some new test shit going out there, or some shit that's meant to, like, do a whole bunch of radical revolutionary and all this other bullshit, they want black folks at the forefront of it? Black woman was the first one. Also, let me guess, black woman first to get a vaccine. You're going to have a whole bunch of other bitches jumping on here talking about, yeah, sister, yeah, we was the first. Yeah, and then next thing you know, I heard this bitch had something, I heard she had, got like facial paralysis or something. Matter of fact, this is the video right here. Then that white guy on the other side just, yeah. We know we're gonna get a lot of niggas up on this shit right here. Watch them all line up at the gates now because they think y'all don't have any intelligence. You know goddamn well she don't feel great. This shit's over there for like fucking with your DNA, RNA structure, and you talking about it feel good. You don't know what the fuck's up in that.
Sandra, you didn't flinch. I take it that Dr. Chester has a good touch. She has a good touch.
Don't take this goddamn vaccine, y'all. If they're trying to mandate it, there's something wrong with it. Fuck all that. Like, there ain't no way no outside entity is gonna tell you what the fuck to put in your body. I'm totally against that shit. I'm not doing it. Shit, job threatening, man. Fuck it. I'll just find something else, just make my own business. Then fuck all that.
Different from any other vaccine.
Now to the latest on the COVID.
But shit, leave your thoughts and comments and all that below. And tune in for the next episode of Dox'n Reality. And I'm your host, Mr. Paradox. And P.S. I'm not a doctor, not a lawyer, none of that shit. So everything I'm saying is my opinion. So whatever happens, I'm just saying do your research, and the consequences ultimately going to be on you. So just be prepared for that. But I'll catch y'all.